here we are on the 100-acre woods, in Canada, mooch docking on a friend's farm, and we are under a 2-week government-mandated quarantine in Canada, and we are in a bug tent. Sorry for that, but...
It's part of the quarantine. You have to stay in a bug tent the whole time. It's the only way to keep the virus from, like, going out.
Don't tease. But anyway, that's not what this video is actually about. That'll be the next video, all about crossing the border and everything that's happened, you know, since then. This is actually about how I almost divorced this guy in the middle of
Hold on. I'm perfect.
In the middle of our journey from Tennessee to Canada. And it's not because of this scruff. Yes, you notice this is new. We'll deal with that later. It's about what I learned I just cannot deal with on a really long journey. And now he knows exactly what I will not deal with on a really long journey. And wait until you see what that's all about.
There were some serious silent moments on this trip.
Yes, dash cam silence.
This video is about our journey from Tennessee to Canada, like Al said, and all the trials and tribulations we went through and the things we learned on a super long trip. Now, this is about an 800-mile journey, which really didn't seem that long, but it should have been about 12 and a half hours if we drove straight through. We turned it into an 18-hour saga with rest stops for the dogs and a couple of quick sleep breaks. But we did learn a lot. We had to drive really slow through the mountains. And so there was lots of craziness that went on in this trip and some serious silent moments.
Yes. So we are hoping that you will learn from our mistakes. Good to see you guys again. But if you're new, I'm Alice.
And I'm Larry.
And we are Downsizing Makes Sense, like the penny. And we are two 50-something empty nesters that sold our house mid-February to move into our Grand Design Solitude with our 2 pups. And we wanted to journey to live life more deliberately.
Right on.
Yep. So, mistake number 1, there was practically no planning whatsoever. Larry's idea of planning is saying we're going to stop every 100 miles. When we're about, 50 miles left in the tank of gas, we'll look for gas. And he said, somewhere around halfway to Canada, I'll find us a rest stop. And that was his planning.
Hold on. I had actually planned where we were going to do the rest stop. It was in Pennsylvania. But the problem was we got there and it was way too early. There's no way I was going to sleep. So I said, let's just keep driving.
Yes. But I wanted an actual, map with, drawn on lines and specific gas stations.
I can't do that.
And we'll get into...
That's just too much planning.
Yes. We'll get into... Those are some mistakes later.
We got to be extemporaneous. Come on. We got to roll.
Learn from us. Pick out everything. Okay, it'll make it a lot easier, especially when you're driving mostly in the dark. Okay.
Okay, mistake number 2 was not using the apps correctly.
Well, it's not just that. Some of the apps didn't do what we thought they would do.
I was trying a new app called Copilot because you could add in all your RV specs, the height and weight and the width and all that kind of stuff. Because we were taking a little bit different route, we were going through the mountains instead of going up north towards Cincinnati. We were kind of going through the mountains of Virginia and West Virginia. I wanted to make sure that we were on good roads for that. And Copilot worked pretty good. Yeah. Alice, you were running Waze at the same time, right?
We were comparing with Waze.
Because of the Waze, there's the traffic and stuff like that. And I think that worked out pretty good. But planning stops and finding stops was hard. Finding rest stops, I think, was...
And finding gas stations.
And gas stations. Now, we were using the EPass app, which is what we normally use for our TSD logistics, pulling into truck stops to get gas. And on this trip was the first time we actually had to go to a non-truck stop. Yeah. Because we couldn't find anything in the EPass app that would work.
It actually pointed us at one point to something that was definitely not a truck or RV gas station, which I don't understand.
This, I guess, gets into her whole, we've got to start planning more than 50 miles out. But so now I think maybe 100 miles out we ought to start looking.
Something. Number 3 mistake. And this is the real reason why I seriously was considering getting like an Uber and going to a hotel and renting a car, okay?
I think you're actually looking at hurting me.
Because I want to enjoy the journey. Oh, silly me. I don't want to just, boom, drive from Tennessee to Canada one straight shot. One, we need to stop for the dogs. We have 2 dogs. They need to do their business. I need to do...
I didn't hear them complaining.
I need to do... Yes, Scrappy did complain. We'll get to that. I need to do my business. Plus, because I want to enjoy the journey, I want to go and get the picture at the Georgia Welcome Center sign like I did for the other video. So I wanted to get those. I wanted to go to welcome centers. I wanted to get like a couple souvenirs, like, you know, little magnets and stickers and stuff.
We did all that stuff. You get 15 minutes. When we get to that rest stop, the timer starts. You get 15 minutes. Boom, you got to get out there and get it.
15 minutes for everyone to go to the bathroom, take pictures, maybe if there's a place to buy a souvenir. So there were some hours on the dash cam where there was no conversation. And
that was her. She didn't want to talk to me.
Because, yes. He admitted that he said, okay, honey, now I understand, you know, we need to spend a little more time.
We will stop a little bit more.
Thank you.
And a little bit longer for you, honey.
Because I want
we
it
want
to be
to
an
make
actual,
sure you are happy.
I want it to be an actual rest stop. I want to rest.
Okay.
Breathe in some fresh air. Stretch my legs. I love you. Maybe.
We'll stop a little bit more.
You didn't say I love you back.
I love you. Mistake number 4. We should have been better prepared for the tolls. Now, actually, William from Camper Life actually warned us that, you know, we should be better prepared for the tolls. And we thought I had it all straightened out because I have an EPass Extra. And supposedly most of those states, except for New York, was on the EPass Extra. But we get into those and none of them. Virginia, West Virginia, Pennsylvania, none of them took the EPass Extra. So we had to use just cash, but it wasn't a big deal. I actually did run through a couple of those with the EPass, and I'm sure I'm going to get a bill in the mail, but that's the way it goes.
Yeah, it said 14 states on the thing, so I don't know what 14 states. But the other thing that I thought was interesting for tolls is we got a paper ticket, like back in the 70s when I was a kid in Florida.
Yeah, the old Florida Turnpike used to give you a paper thing.
Paper.
And they're still doing that in New York with COVID going on.
New York.
That is bizarre.
COVID, and they handed us a paper ticket.
Yeah, like it was no big deal at all.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Weird. Okay, number 5. This isn't a mistake. This is a choice we made. We decided to do the Scenic Route because we didn't want to drive through big cities. But what that meant is that it was a lot of mountains up and down, and actually they were kind of cool tunnels.
It was actually pretty awesome.
Yeah.
There's 2 routes to take from where we came out of Tennessee. One is kind of a western route up through Detroit, and then the eastern route kind of takes us up and in through Buffalo. And it takes us through West Virginia and Virginia. And those were really mountainous. Yes. I mean, I had never taken the 5th wheel in the truck through those. And basically, I had to get in the right lane behind some of these trucks. And I was only doing like 40 miles an hour up some of these roads. And I probably could have gone faster, but I didn't see a need in like really burning up the truck to get up those. But I'm telling you, those are some long, steep climbs.
It was a little scary.
And it was cool. I mean, the scenery was unbelievable.
Yes.
And going through those tunnels was pretty awesome.
Yeah, but even the truckers would put on their hazards.
Yeah, they were just going so slow. They just can't go fast up those. Yeah. So I would just tuck in behind a couple of truckers and go up nice and easy.
But a lot of great scenery, which is what I love.
It was cool. And those tunnels going through the mountains are cool.
They were cool. Number 6, traveling with pets. So we have 2 little pups, and one of the things you want to make sure of is that we have a little portable water in the back of the truck, so the dogs can take a drink. You want to make sure that they have enough of a comfortable place in the back. Chewy can sleep anywhere. She slept pretty much the whole time. Scrappy is a nervous wreck. So one of the other things, if you have a nervous Nelly, make sure that you have room in the back of whatever your vehicle is, that if you have to, you can climb back there and maybe calm her down for a little while. The other thing I do is I have these calming drops that are herbal. I don't know if they actually work, but
I want some of those.
it made me feel better to give it to her.
I need some calming drops.
No, you're the driver. So that's the other thing. You definitely need longer rest stops, because the dogs, it's like you get them out, you let them pee, then you shove them back in the vehicle. And so I really think the dogs would like to have a little more time to run around.
I spoke to the dogs, and they said they were completely fine with the length of the stops. They were ready to get on and go to Canada.
Okay. We have some footage of Scrappy shaking like a leaf.
Yeah. She's a mess
She
the
was
whole
a mess.
time. She didn't lay down once.
No.
For the 18 hours.
No.
Well, when we slept, of course.
When we slept. Bringing up, if you do sleep at a rest stop, be very careful about where they are. There was a point, there's somewhere in the Grand Design in the Solitude bedroom where when the slide is not out, because we're at a rest stop, she can hide under the bed. And we thought we lost her. Yes, so just, water, make sure they're comfortable, give them lots of stops, and when you do spend the night somewhere, make sure they're secure.
Yeah,
right?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Okay, number 7, night versus day driving. I've always preferred to drive at night. I used to go to the Keys from Orlando area once a month, and I would leave at like 1 o'clock in the morning, so I would get there at 8 o'clock and ready to have a good time for the day. It's just why I prefer to drive. And there are some advantages to the night. You don't have any traffic. You don't have to worry about crazy people on the road. And the time just flies by when you're driving at night.
And it's a lot cooler.
Yeah, it's way cooler. I mean, it's just a lot of advantages to it. But, if you're in a scenic area, you're not going to get to enjoy any of that. Day
driving. I prefer day driving because, once again, I want the scenery. To me, it's all about the journey. I want to see the cliffs, the rock cliffs on the side.
It's the destination. Your destination, I'm destination, your journey.
Yes. We went, over, Lake Erie or whatever.
We went past Lake Erie.
Well, we went over a bridge, and there was water there. Yeah. But it was completely dark, so...
You didn't get to see it.
Oops. Yeah.
That's okay.
I didn't see any of that.
The whole thing can't be during the day, otherwise we'd have to stop and stay somewhere.
I know, but there was another problem with the night driving on the roads.
Yeah, the other problem with night driving up north in Florida, there are the reflectors between all the lanes, and I think because of up north, because of snow plows and all that stuff, maybe that's why they don't have reflectors in the lanes. And some of the areas where there's no street lights, it was really dark, and it was raining. It was raining really hard. So I had a really hard time seeing the lanes up north. That was mostly Pennsylvania and New York when it was really raining. That was a little bit stressful driving in that.
Last one, number 8. Where to sleep.
Or not sleep.
Or not, no.
Or just keep going.
See, that's, again, divorce. Okay.
Who needs sleep? Sleep's highly overrated.
So, I got grumpy. Oh, surprise, surprise. We needed to find a place to sleep. Now, a lot of people talk about rest stops, trucker stops, Walmarts, Cracky Barrel, things like that. We did try a truck stop first. We thought about it.
We were getting gas at a Pilot.
Yes.
And there was plenty of spots there where we could have, and even though they had a rule, this is in Pennsylvania, they had a rule, no idling.
Yeah.
Every single truck in there was idling, and the fumes and the noise was brutal, so we weren't going to do that.
Yeah. And one of the places that we originally picked in Pennsylvania, a rest stop, we said before was too early. It was 8 o'clock, I think. It was way too early. So he's like, no, we're going to keep going. And then it hit about 10 p.m., and that's about my bedtime. And I was a little cranky.
Yeah.
Little cranky. And I was like, we're freaking stopping. So we found a rest stop.
You said we're stopping and I'm going to sleep.
Yeah, basically. We might have been there for 2 or 3 hours, but because he was going in and out, in and out, in and out, in and out, in the RV, I kind of got some sleep.
I was kind of trying to get you going. I was coming in the RV.
Yeah. So there wasn't a whole lot of talking heard on that dash cam after that nap that I was able to
take. It was a little tense after that.
Yes.
But I did stop for you, and I let you sleep.
Let me sleep. And we didn't stop again until we got through to Canada, which is the next video, at 6 in the morning.
I think what you got to do is, while I'm driving, you sleep.
That's hard to do.
You don't trust me, do you?
No. Well, anyway. So, because he let's not talk about how he can like nod off while he's sleeping. But anyway, so
Well, I'm driving, you mean?
while you're driving. I hope you nod off while you're sleeping. I'm still tired. Okay, so this is just kind of like part one. This is like the road so far. I don't know how many of you are going to get where that comes from. Getting us from Tennessee to Canada. We're going to have a whole nother video about what it was like crossing the border.
And we're not talking about border in here?
No, that's for the next
that's
video.
like the best part.
That was so scary.
Right. That was the best part.
That
we gotta
was.
definitely.
I wish we could have
I can't wait to do
filmed
the
it.
border thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
I wish we had filmed that guy.
Yeah,
He was
you
hilarious.
got to see the border thing. We got some good stories.
All I will say is we didn't know whether or not we were going to get in or not.
Yes, we seriously were not sure.
Yeah. Okay, another kind of a different video for us and our journey, and that's what this whole channel is about. It's about getting in an RV, living in it full time, and doing journeys like this. Because of COVID, the beginning of our journey was really not a journey, but this is what it's all about, and the things that we've learned along the way.
Yes, we're
and
learning.
going on these big journeys, and having all kinds of crazy experiences along the way,
And how it affects.
whether or not we could stay married.
See, he
through-
flinches. He flinches.
So whether or not we could stay married through all this.
Yeah,
So-
we shall see.
But if you're into this kind of stuff, RVing, full timing, traveling, fifth wheels, all that kind of stuff,
Yep.
please consider subscribing to our channel down here. And we have a lot of other videos that we made, whether it's RV experiences, DIY, some of other traveling and campgrounds. Please consider checking out a playlist that I have up here somewhere. And, also remember,
Downsizing, maybe, still, makes sense.